And our chives. You know, so we got our chives coming in, right? I don't know if you can see that. It's hard for me to see, but there's my little basil trees coming up. And like I said, I think the video shut off on me. Hey, my apple tree is starting to bloom. Look at that. My apple tree, the blossoms are coming out with leaves. This is my strawberry and basil, and or spinach, and they're coming up. I don't know if you can see, but that's a strawberry plant. Eventually, this whole bed is going to be strawberries. And then over here is my cabbage, and I don't know if you can see, but all my cabbage is coming up. Let's see if I can show you. See my cabbage coming up. It's just coming up all through the bed now. That's a good thing. And then let's go on down here. We're gonna check everything, right? We're checking everything because we had a big windstorm come through, and it threw that one greenhouse into my peach tree. And there's my other peach tree that we just planted. It's coming. It's starting to put leaves out. This is supposed to be pole beans, but I think this is some weeds, and my onions are nothing. I got nothing on the onions right now. So, planted them last weekend. They're not even peeking out. Here's my other apple tree I just planted. You see the little flowers coming up? I'm so excited. So excited. And then in here, we got our turnips. I'm not sure if you can see that, but that's all my turnips. And got something peeking out right there for rhubarb. Maybe. But anyway, I'm taking it easy this weekend. Now, for those who don't know, this right here is dead nettle, and you can use this as a tea for aches and pains. But I have that all through the yard here. I let these little blue blossoms, I just let all this go for the bees because, you know, beginning of the year, bees really need it. That's my big peach tree. I planted that last year. Yesterday, I kind of just didn't do anything. I had a biopsy on Friday, so we're a little bit painful this morning. A little bit painful yesterday. A little bit better than what it was yesterday. Well, my elderberry tree is just coming right on along. Look at that. She just going. It's a beautiful elderberry tree. That's my holly tree right there. Don't know if you can see it, but that right there is my holly tree. This is another dogwood. If you have dogwood, this is what it does. It sends out all these little trees everywhere, all through your yard. This is supposed to be another, like elderberry, blackberry tree. I don't know. I'm letting it grow this year, and if it blooms, then we'll find out, right? But that's what it's supposed to be. I don't know. I mean, anybody knows, let me know. I don't know what this tree is. So, if anybody can identify it, you see it's got the little red. So, I don't know if this is a blueberry tree, or blackberry tree, elderberry tree. I don't know what it is, okay? But it was pretty. And it looks pretty big. So, I said, well, I'll just transplant it over here. So, that's what we did. Then back here, we tried to grow some corn. This is corn from last year. I don't know if you can tell, but see, it never produced for me last year. So we're just letting it grow, see if anything happens. Sweet potatoes are in the ground, but they're not really doing well. This one's not doing too bad. This one right here. The Rutgers, nothing's happening. Okay. I just planted 4 of the Yukon Gold potatoes. Right. So I planted 4 of the Yukon Gold and 1 of the Idaho. Basically this one here is just potatoes I had left over from last year that I never used. So I just threw them in the ground. So I got 3 of them I just threw in the ground there. Maybe something will grow, maybe it won't. I don't know. It's okay. This is my dandelion. Look at my dandelion. That dandelion just going crazy, man. Going crazy. So we're trying to grow a little something. And I still ain't got rid of this yet. I mean, I got these 2 big piles here. I was going to do it this weekend, but I had to go do that biopsy, so that's not going to happen this weekend. And then, hello, Mama. What you doing there, Mama? I got 1 chicken trying to go Brody, and I'm going to let her go Brody if she wants to. I planted cucumbers along here. So far, I've seen 1 coming up. Not sure if they're going to come up or not. I planted some Romas here. Not sure if it's going to come up or not. But this is what I spent most of yesterday doing. I don't know if you can see it, but I got a hole right there and a hole right over there. And I had to use flex tape. And we put about 1 inch of water in there overnight. We had a big windstorm come through, so overnight it's held water. So we might be able to fill this and get the pump going to clean all this crap out of it, right? Just one of those things, right, that I seem to have a pretty level. I mean, it ain't got to be perfect. It's just for me. But that's what's going on here. I mean, my Arapaho blackberry is starting to put out leaves. See that? It's starting to put out leaves. I'm so happy about that. But all the rest of this, and this is another blueberry plant. All the rest of this, I don't know. I mean, it was old seed for these, so maybe they'll come up, maybe they won't. I don't know. You know, I'm like y'all. I just learn as I go. This is carrots, and I planted these from scraps. You know, cut the tops off and replanted them, and they seem to be doing okay. My blueberry bushes are starting to bloom, and this one here is called assorted. So this is a high bush. It's an Elliott high bush. This is a totally different one. If you didn't know, with blueberries, you have to have 2 varieties in order to get blueberries. You have to have 2 separate varieties, whether it be a high bush and a low bush, or 2 varieties of high bush, or whatever. Okay. So I got a little bit of lettuce popping out. This is wild lettuce. I didn't plant that. I just letting it go. So I go over here to my other bed. You see here, there's nothing coming up here yet. I'm gonna give it another week, and then if that doesn't work, then I'll replant, right? And then in here, look at here. This is pretty. This is pretty, man. This is Exactly what I needed. This is all my lettuce. Look at here. I got all different types of lettuce up in here. I got red lettuce, green lettuce, red salad lettuce, purple lettuce, iceberg lettuce. I got all my lettuce up in here and they're popping out. So that was really good seed from Gurney's. That was Gurney's seed. And then this one here is my kale. This is Russian kale. And it's popping out. Look at that. That's all my Russian kale popping out. And this is a lot of the seeds. I got blue kale and Russian kale and just regular kale. Again, that's from Gurney's again. So I've had really good luck on Gurney's on some things, but on other things, not so much, right? Oh, this is gonna be. Yeah, we have to get that in a minute. That right there is a poke bush. Now, if you don't know anything about poke trees, it grew pretty big last year. I just haven't cut it down yet, but it grew pretty big. And pokeberries are good for the chickens, but they're not so good for you. So if you see this black bush and you do a lens on it and it says it's pokeberry, please don't eat that. It has to be cooked a specific way. And if you don't cook it that way, you can really hurt yourself. So, really be sure of what you're harvesting when you harvest, because these berries come up in a little berry tree like this, and they're single berries, and they look like blueberries except they're black. And that is a pokeberry, and that is very toxic. It's okay for the chickens to eat it. The chickens will only eat so much of it. And it's actually good for them because it helps certain things with their digestion. But it is not good for you. So, do not eat that. Okay? As you can tell, I have a lot of garlic going. I planted some corn up in here. I got one popping up. So I've planted corn up in here. I've got a lot of garlic. My garlic is just spreading everywhere. But this is what you do. I mean, as you see, I don't really do a lot of weeding and stuff. I let whatever's gonna grow come up. I am kind of hoping that maybe some deer spinach will come up. I'm not seeing it yet, but it takes a while. Oh, here we go. Here's a little one. Let me show this to you. This plant right there, that is deer spinach. That is edible. Most people think that's a weed, but that deer spinach right there, that plant right there, okay, that is edible. And it'll come up, it'll get tall. And the Indians used to use that for nice vitamin K content. Okay? It is very edible. It is very wild growing, and once you have it going in your bed, a lot of times it is perennial. It will keep coming back. As long as you leave some seeds in the soil, it'll come back. Same thing with dead nettle. Dead nettle will keep coming back. You know, a lot of people think it's a weed. It's not a weed. It's edible. I say this because a lot of people don't realize how much edible they have in their backyard, and they try and kill it all. But you have to, if you're gardening, you have to look at your backyard like you would a forest. And each plant has a specific reason for being there. Okay, the dandelions bring nitrogen up, and they pull minerals and nitrogen up and calcium up from deep in the soil, and they pull it up. And then when they die off, the other plants can eat that. Wild onion. I have wild onion in my yard here. This is wild onion. Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, that's grass. Yeah, it kind of looks like grass, right? But it's not. It's actually onion. And what wild onion, when you're harvesting it, you need to be sure that you're not harvesting one that has a purple stem. So if you're getting ready to harvest it and this looks purple right in here, that's toxic. That is a false onion. Do not eat that. So you want to be sure that this is green, okay? And you can tell what it is if you break off a piece of it and sniff it. It has a specific smell, and it smells like wild onion. And you can take a little taste of it right on the tip of your tongue, and you can taste a little bit of that onion taste. And that's how you're sure of what it is. You do not want to just start eating something on somebody's advice, okay? You want to take your time, identify the plant correctly. Once you have, in your mind, identified the plant, then you want to take just a little bit of it, just on the tip of your tongue, and see if you have any kind of reaction. Because even though you might not react to it, somebody else might. So any new food that you're harvesting, especially wild harvesting, and you're not sure of, you want to do that with. And you want to do your due diligence by looking in books and looking online, since you have that availability. Looking online, try to identify the plant and try to see if you can tell if it's edible. What I have found is a lot of plants that are not edible have like a purplish stem. It's really strange. It's not every plant, because obviously rhubarb has like a purplish stem. But I don't really wild harvest anything that has like a purplish stem. Just me. It's just like mushrooms. I don't wild harvest mushrooms. I'm not know anything about mushrooms. I'm not going to harvest them. So I hope that helps somebody. I mean, like I said, I got dead nettle all over the place. Dead nettle is good for arthritis. You know, you chop it up, you dehydrate it, chop the flowers off, you dehydrate it, you put it in, you steep it into a tea, remove the leaves, and have that with a little bit of onion. Of course, it's going to taste really grassy, but it's pretty good. Okay, and you really cannot misidentify dead nettle. Okay, this is the time of year you want to go and harvest it. This is also the time of year that you want to go and harvest your dandelions. Okay, I just want to make this very clear. This is a dandelion. Okay, you see that flower? That's a dandelion. This is the same color flower, but this is not a dandelion. Okay, that's not a dandelion. That's a buttercup. So you want to make sure that you fully identify the correct plant, because they look a lot alike. And I don't think a lot of people, when they're trying to figure out how to harvest things, I don't think a lot of people take the time to learn for themselves how to harvest right out of their backyard. I could harvest out of my backyard here. I could harvest a whole bunch of things, and I've done this. I have chickweed all over the yard. I don't know if you noticed that, but I have chickweed through here. I have dead nettle through here. I have wild onions through here. I have garlic. All this garlic is wild. I didn't plant any of that garlic. That all came up on its own. Okay. So I try and plant things that will keep producing year after year after year. I would highly recommend that you do things like that, like my chives. I planted my chives 3 years ago. They're still going. And so now I've transplanted them into a full garden bed because I'm going to try and keep them in the garden bed because they're spreading everywhere. So that's just some of my tips this weekend. And like I said, this is kind of an easy weekend for me. I've got Bumble. Miss Bumble is out. You see Miss Bumble? Miss Bumble. Miss Bumble. You are pretty. Hello, Miss Bumble. So I've got the bumblebees are out, and by the way, their nest is back over there. Okay, they're in that corner, and that's why I haven't cleaned that corner up. It's because we got a bumblebee nest in there. I'm not going to bother them if I don't have to. So that's all I have for you this weekend. I'm trying to be nice and not really go over all the craziness going on in the world right now. I think that we have enough people doing that, and I think that we need to just like focus on what we need to be doing and try and take care of our own little homesteads, right? Like I said, I'm kind of moving slow today. I won't know about my biopsy until next weekend, and I'll let you know when I find out.